A kiss is a lovely trick designed by nature to stop speech when words become superfluous. A kiss is a rosy dot over the I of loving. A kiss makes the heart young again and wipes out the years. A loving heart is the beginning of all knowledge. A man reserves his true and deepest love not for the species of woman in whose company he finds himself electrified and enkindled, but for that one in whose company he may feel tenderly drowsy. A pair of powerful spectacles has sometimes sufficed to cure a person in love. A very small degree of hope is sufficient to cause the birth of love. A woman knows the face of the man she loves as a sailor knows the open sea. Absence diminishes mediocre passions and increases great ones, as the wind extinguishes candles and fans fires. Affection is responsible for 9/10 of whatever solid and durable happiness there is in our lives. All love shifts and changes. I don't know if you can be wholeheartedly in love all the time. All mankind loves a lover. All my life, my heart has yearned for a thing I cannot name. As soon go kindle fire with snow, as seek to quench the fire of love with words. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. Before I met my husband, I'd never fallen in love. I'd stepped in it a few times. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Can miles truly separate you from friends? If you want to be with someone you love, aren't you already there? Richard Bach. Come live in my heart and pay no rent. Do all things with love. First love is only a little foolishness and a lot of curiosity. For it was not into my ear you whispered, but into my heart. It was not my lips you kissed, but my soul. Fortune and love favor the brave. Friendship is love without his wings. Friendship often ends in love, but love in friendship, never. Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. How absurd and delicious it is to be in love with somebody younger than yourself. Everybody should try it. I believe in the compelling power of love. I do not understand it. I believe it to be the most fragrant blossom of all this thorny existence. I can live without money, but I cannot live without love. I have found the paradox, that if you love until it hurts, there can be no more hurt, only more love. I like not only to be loved but also to be told I am loved. I was about half in love with her by the time we sat down. That's the thing about girls. Every time they do something pretty, you fall half in love with them, and then you never know where the hell you are. If you could only love enough, you could be the most powerful person in the world. If you live to be 100, I want to live to be 100 minus 1 day so I never have to live without you. If you press me to say why I loved him, I can say no more than because he was he, and I was I. If you want to be loved, be lovable. Immature love says, I love you because I need you. Mature love says, I need you because I love you. In love, the paradox occurs that two beings become one and yet remain two. It is difficult to know at what moment love begins. It is less difficult to know that it has begun. It is sad not to love, but it is much sadder not to be able to love. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. Love is life. And if you miss love, you miss life. Love is like war, easy to begin but very hard to stop. Love is love's reward. Love is metaphysical gravity. Love is much nicer to be in than an automobile accident, a tight girdle, a higher tax bracket, or a holding pattern over Philadelphia. Love is my religion, I could die for it. Love is only a dirty trick played on us to achieve the continuation of the species. Love is that splendid triggering of human vitality, the supreme activity that nature affords anyone, for going out of himself towards someone else. Love is the beauty of the soul. Love is the child of illusion and the parent of disillusion. Love is the delusion that one woman differs from another. Love is the flower you've got to let grow. Love is the foundation from which your decisions about your life should be made. Love is the joy of the good, the wonder of the wise, the amazement of the gods. Love is the magician that pulls man out of his own hat. Love is the poetry of the senses. Love is the power to see similarities in the dissimilar. Love is the self-delusion we manufacture to justify the trouble we take to have sex. Love is the triumph of imagination over intelligence. There is no limit to the power of love. There is no surprise more magical than the surprise of being loved. It is God's finger on man's shoulder. There is only one terminal dignity, love. Time is too slow for those who wait, too swift for those who fear, too long for those who grieve, and too short for those who rejoice, but for those who love, time is eternity. It is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. To enlarge or illustrate this power and effect of love is to set a candle in the sun. To fear love is to fear life, and those who fear life are already 3 parts dead. To love abundantly is to live abundantly, and to love forever is to live forever. To love for the sake of being loved is human, but to love for the sake of loving is angelic. To say, I love you, one must first be able to say the I. True love is like ghosts, which everyone talks about and few have seen. We are all born for love. It is the principle of existence and its only end. We are not the same persons this year as last, nor are those we love. It is a happy chance if we, changing, continue to love a changed person. We loved with a love that was more than love. We perceive when love begins and when it declines through our embarrassment when alone together. We waste time looking for the perfect lover, instead of creating the perfect love. What the world really needs is more love and less paperwork. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. When love is not madness, it is not love. When you love a man, he becomes more than a body. His physical limbs expand, and his outline recedes and vanishes. He is rich and sweet and right. He is part of the world, the atmosphere, the blue sky, and the blue water. Love is the word used to label the sexual excitement of the young, the habituation of the middle-aged, and the mutual dependence of the old. Love is what you've been through with somebody. Love is when you meet someone who tells you something new about yourself. Love isn't something you find. Love is something that finds you. Love makes your soul crawl out from its hiding place. Love means not ever having to say you're sorry. Love takes off masks that we fear we cannot live without and know we cannot live within. Love takes up where knowledge leaves off. Love that is not madness is not love. Love surrounds every being and extends slowly to embrace all that shall be. Love's greatest gift is its ability to make everything it touches sacred. Loving is not just looking at each other, it's looking in the same direction. More than kisses, letters mingle souls. Nobody has ever measured, not even poets, how much the heart can hold. Once the realization is accepted that even between the closest human beings infinite distances continue, a wonderful living side by side can grow, if they succeed in loving the distance between them, which makes it possible for each to see the other whole against the sky. One is loved because one is loved. No reason is needed for loving. People need loving the most when they deserve it the least. Say what you will, 'tis better to be left than never to have been loved. Someday, after mastering the winds, the waves, the tides, and gravity, we shall harness for God the energies of love, and then, for a second time in the history of the world, man will have discovered fire. Sometimes it's a form of love just to talk to somebody that you have nothing in common with and still be fascinated by their presence. When you're in love, you never really know whether your elation comes from the qualities of the one you love, or if it attributes them to her, whether the light which surrounds her as a halo comes from you, from her, or from the meeting of your sparks. Where there is great love, there are always wishes. Where there is love, there is life. Who so loves believes the impossible. Who would give a law to lovers? Love is unto itself a higher law. Woe to the man whose heart has not learned while young to hope, to love, and to put its trust in life. You don't have to go looking for love when it's where you come from. Thank you for watching and listening. Please consider subscribing, sharing, liking, and commenting to motivate me to bring you more great content. Much love, Amy. Also, why not leave a comment with some suggestions for more great content?